And welcome back, guys. So I've loaded up the scene we're going to be using to play with a more high resolution organic model. Again, if you want to follow along, you can find the scene file and it's labeled section 6 organic surface, and then you can follow along or even attempt it on your own. I'm going to go wireframe unshaded so I can see my mesh and the topology, what's happening here. So now, like I mentioned before, we can go look at things that we can cut off. For example, the ears could be their own little islands. This seems to have an inside of the eye, so each one of these eyes can be cut out. Inside the nostrils, those guys can be cut out. Then I know this character has an inside of the mouth, so inside this mouth here we can find where it connects to the outside of the lips there, and have the inner of the mouth on its own, and then that weird dangly throat thingy. I can see that seam lines in there. The UV light, I think it's called. Okay, if I just rotate around this guy in the inside of the mouth, you can see we also have a tongue in here that's part of the mouth and all that stuff. Let's start jumping into creating UVs for this, guys. First, we need to do some sort of projection so that there is UV information to actually move. As you can see, currently this model has no UVs whatsoever. So again, I'm just gonna go to UVs, camera based. There's my camera based. Good, camera based. Now we've got our 3D object in there. Go back to edge mode. I'm gonna be using my symmetry tools to help me here. Pop this guy a bit smaller. Let's go start inside the nostrils. So I'm going to select this outer ring of the nostrils, and I'm going to add a seam line in there. I'm going to do cut, and I can go into UVs, UV mode, double click those UVs, move them out. There's my little nostrils. Press F. Let's see what happens if I unfold them. That's not bad. I'm just going to leave them there for now. So that's the insides of the nostrils done. Let's go get the eyes out. That sounds very sadistic, but that's a thing. So let's go in here in edge mode. Double click there, and as you can see, because of the clean topology, there's a nice clean loop for us to just double click and boom, we got it done. Then we can go cut and go to UV mode, go to UVs, select these islands. As you can see, the little eyesies, move the little eyesies up here. Let's see what happens if we just unfold them as is. They're actually quite decent. I like that. But because they are inside or potentially behind an eyeball, I'm not really too concerned about the layout or how the islands look. As long as they're nice and clean and nothing's overlapping, I am happy. We could potentially go in here, and I'm going to do that. I'm going to go and grab that edge till the outside edge. Go and cut, then follow this guy out here and to the outside edge and go cut, then select all of them UVs. Come now, and I'm going to go unfold. That lessens the intense stretching that it needed to do to complete, to actually have that thing like that. I'm going to go grab this UV. Because it's symmetrical, it's sharing it between the two of them. I just want to give some little bit of breathing room there. That one seems fine. Great. Now we've got the inner nostrils, the inside of the eyeballs. Now we need to go and find how this mouth connects to the inside of the mouth. I need to go find a seam inside here. So here's the lip, and then it goes up in here, and that's where that mouth section starts. I'm going to use this edge in here because that should be the insides of the lip. Just see where those edges are. Now they're pretty well hidden in there. I can also turn this guy on so that I can actually see my selection through the model. So that's selection highlighting. So as you can see, it does a nice clean edge loop around there, so I can just go and do a cut. Now because the inside of the mouth is a different island, I can go into UV mode, select the inside of thy mouth, which seems like a lot of topology. Then in here, move that out like that. I can also go Control 1 so that I only see the mouth section that I have here. Now by using this isolating the selection option, I can go in and do some UVs on that without having the outside of the head be in my way. I'm going to do a little dangular thingy in the back. I'm going to go and cut. I'm going to go grab its UVs. Little dangular guy. You can go there. Let's unfold you. That looks decent. Now I can go and cut this inner mouth section in two, or I can go find the tongue, which is this inside section here. Because if I go into the mouth, you can see there is the tongue area. So I'm going to try and get the tongue cut off So let's go use these edge loops to our advantage, see if it goes all the way around. It doesn't, but it gets close, halfway past. Is great. Let's go do that guy, and then do that guy. And let's go cut, right click, UVs, grab that UV island and move it out. That is the tongue area. Let's unfold and see what it does. That's a lot of tension we're putting on this poor guy. So I'm going to go to edge, then find the most centers of edges and just deselect the smaller inside ones. Go cut, UVs, select the UVs and go unfold to get a cleaner result and a lot less edges put under a lot of tension. So now I've got this big guy left, so what I can do is I can go to UV mode, double click so that I just get that island like that. I can go back into control 1 and then control 1 again and click away. So everything that I have removed is not in this isolated selection. For some reason it brought the little doohickey back here. You should not be in here. Let's go to UV. Why does it select the inside of this thing? It doesn't. It seems this is not selecting here. Okay, now let's go and see what we can do with this. So the back of the throat section we can potentially cut off. We can go to edge mode. We can see how far this edge takes us. Takes us about there. We can go back down here. That shoots us to the front. I do not want to do that. I would prefer you maybe this edge, but where do you go? It only selects that side. Edge. Sweet. Now let's go grab these outer ones, which then goes all the way around the mouth. Okay, so I'm gonna have to manually select them. So it stops there. I need you. I need you. And do that selection on this edge and then that edge. Then how do I connect it up to you? Well, I guess it's that edge. I can go could undo that. Why is there a seam line in there? Okay, cut this guy so I can have it on its own. Grab this little island now. Just still the entire mouth. Why didn't you go all the way through? Oh, because I didn't do the top part of this guy. So this guy can go here. Just double click so that it goes right through. I can then go include, then UV, double click so I only have this one island, and I can go and move that out. Let's see what unfold gets us. Not too great. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab the center line, have a cut on it, UV, and unfold. That's a bit better. Now I need to get this front section done. So I'm going to do the control 1 trick again. Only those guys are visible. I see Maya's trying to give me suggestions of edges for some arbitrary reason. I should be able to go straight through the center of this guy because it's symmetrical. I'm going to go straight through like so. I'm going to go cut, then in here UVs. So now I should have 2 UV islands. No, I did not. Edge mode. Where did you stop? Dear selection. Ah, I see, that's where it stopped. There's nothing there keeping you from going through. It should be fine. And the back one seems to do what it's supposed to do. Let's go try this again. Cut. Let's see what it does when I go unfold. Unfold. Okay, so it did make 2 different things. It's just that I have symmetry on. Turn symmetry off. UVs. Grab this guy. Move it. So that's the inside of the mouth on the one side. That's the inside of the mouth on the other side. See, it's added a cut down here. Just select these edges, not these outer ones, but just that center line. And just sew them back up so that the tongue is not split into 2. Just sew them back up. And let's go cut off those ears, shall we? I'm going to turn symmetry back on again. Symmetry should have symmetry now. Yes. I'm going to go edge mode again. Find a loop that goes right around the ear quite nicely. I seem to have found it. And then we can go cut, and then we can go right click UV. Let's go grab them ears. Let's see if we just do an unfold and hope for the best. As you can see, there's a lot of tension in here. I'm just gonna do that. Then I'm gonna go control 1 so I only see the ears. Now let's see. I can go in here, find an inner loop that goes all the way around. This loop goes here on the outside and then to the front. That's not the kind of loop I wanted. This one goes on the inside. I just want to deselect that. No. Let's go and... because the tension is in here where they made a little deep insert where potentially the eardrum would go. I want to take these guys and cut them out. And UV, do that, move them up, unfold. That was that big tension area. Now if I go grab this guy again and go unfold, we've removed some of the tension. Now I can see how I could cut this ear to relieve more of the tension that I'm seeing in these edges. So I can go to edge. It seems this guy or this edge is the most center of one. I can see that edge we had selected. It loops back on itself, so it's... undo that. So it's basically the shell of the ear. I would prefer it... where does this one go? It goes pretty straight through. I'm gonna go and split the ear up in here. Cut. Let's go to UV, select those. Let's just move them up and out of the way. And then I can select this side as well and unfold them both. I'm a big fan of what's happening here. So in this open hole here, I'm going to add an edge loop or a seam line in there. And then unfold just to release some of that tension in there. In here, I'm going to cut this one. Cut and UVs. Just to relieve some of that tension that I saw there. And also now we can potentially go in here manually and just click in the center there, because when I get here I can still middle mouse click and drag to get to and move in all three axes and spread the UVs a little bit from each other in those very tight areas. That seems nice. Like here it's very tight, so I can go and just spread them out a little bit more. It's coming from this guy, so let's start by the culprit, shall we? Move these guys down. This guy a little bit more to the front. Okay, that sorts that out. Now we should only be left with the skull. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go UV, select. Well, before I do that, I see I've got a center seam line going right through the center. I do not want that. So on this guy, I don't want them to do that, but if I go and now select that inner edge and merge them, they are selecting all of these other stuff. So I'm going to go and just deselect them, deselect anything that could potentially be welded up again or sewed up again that I don't want sewed up. Sew that up. Now I've got a fresh head to start with. Now let's go and see. So I want the center of the head up to the forehead area. So here, so yeah, let's get closer. That's the center. So there, I'm gonna go and cut. Let's see how that unfolds, because that's always a fun thing to see and weirdly disturbing when you unfold a face. Come now, Maya, go. Now we've got the face unfolded, which is actually looking pretty good. If we want, we can potentially go down here a bit to like just where the ear is here, and then just double click that edge here. Let's just go deselect any of the edges that might be somewhere else that we don't want, and we can go and cut, UV, select the UVs, wait for Maya to catch up, unfold. There we potentially have a better mesh distribution, especially here in the face area. And also we hiding a seam line. We could potentially hide that seam line with hair and stuff. So that is pretty nice. Now, again, I'm going to use Maya to the full advantage. Select all my UVs as soon as it's up to the task. Okay. I'm going to go to arrange and layout. I am just going to go and say layout and see what Maya gives us. That's not bad. So let's go grab this head. Again, I don't like how close it puts everything together. Come now. So I don't mind the size of the head as it is, because the face has a lot of, or requires a lot of resolution. But I'm going to just select all of the UVs again, because I want to scale down the face so it can fit inside a single tile. So in here, I want to go and scale everything so that this head fits inside of the tile. But also give it a little bit more. Then we can do that. Now, if you want, you can put like the left ear on the left side of the head and all that kind of good stuff. I'm going to turn off symmetry because I do not need it at this time. Again, select this ear. I don't know where to put it really. I'll just shove it in here. It kind of follows the curvature quite nicely. Do that maybe. Then I can potentially put both ear sections in here. So I want to get as close to that guy but not overlap. This ear, let's go and rotate it so that I can fit it in here. So I'm putting those little ear doohickeys in there. What is this? Oh, that's the one side of the eye. Where's the other eye? I'm assuming it's this guy. Yes, I found eye bits. Now I can go and take this eye bit. We can fill up this corner quite significantly with actually a lot of UV tiles. That's actually quite decent. So I can put this guy in here. This guy, if I rotate it a bit differently, and shove it in there. Then we've got little small bits all over this show. What is this? That is the yellow little uvula thingy. For some reason it got cut in half. So let's just go at edge, select that edge, and we can go so, stitch together, where to go? Now I've got that guy, UV, select that UV, move it into this bottom corner. What are these? These are the inside of the nostrils. As you can see, guys, I'm not using the scale tool at all. I'm just moving and rotating, making the most use out of the single UV tile that I have. What are these guys? Oh, that's the inside of the little ear hole is. I can actually put it in here. Put this guy in here. That is the tongue, if I remember correctly. I can potentially put it in here so it looks like a weird bow tie. But it's touching the sides there. So let's put it in this side for now. I'm gonna rotate it so that curvature can potentially match up there quite nicely. What else do I have here? This is the inside or the bottom half of the ear. Where is your compadre? We got these two guys. I'm gonna move this guy, say, in here. I think they will work better down here where the neck comes. Same with this guy. Potentially need to rotate it. Put it in here. Get this guy pretty close. Now we've got what is this? The inside of the mouth, the two sections. So here, let's see if they would fit both, because I could potentially get away with that. Grab this guy, just rotate it. See how I can fit it in here. I can put this there, move this guy a bit up. Now I've got this guy that I can move a bit closer. Now here we've got the big interior section of the mouth. I can move this guy up here or them up there. So let's rotate them around so that we have this face row pointing kind of in the same direction, and give this guy a weird hat, or lady actually. Rotate this guy a little bit and move it down here. As you can see, I've used up less of the UV tile than Maya wanted to use. I want to put it back in the 0 to 1 one. And if I go turn on my material, you will see everything is nice and square the way we want it. If I go inside of the mouth, all the squares are nice and square. So I think that is a very successful UV layout that we've made here. It's funny that the two O's run across the eyes. Looks like a weird trash panda. Okay, so now we've UV'd out yet another object, which is pretty good. And again, as I mentioned in the beginning of this lesson, you could have followed along using the scene labeled Scene 6 Organic Surface. Okay, I'm not going to save so that when you open it up, you are left with a very dirty topology object so that you can practice unwrapping surfaces. So with that said, in the next lesson we're going to tackle some hard surface models and see how UV layouts differ from organic shapes to more hard surface shapes. So with that said, I shall catch you in the next lesson.